What's up, risk managers? My name is Nasdaq Anonymous, and I'm addicted to the NQ. And boy, is she one hell of a drug. And welcome to today's NA meeting, where we'll discuss the economic data for the week, the day's technical analysis, the trading opportunities that we took on today's stream, and build a game plan for tomorrow's price action. And if you haven't done so already, you can show your support by subscribing to the channel. And with that said, let's jump into the charts now. This is tomorrow's data. Be mindful that all times are in Central Time. And we have a big block of news scheduled for tomorrow, so let's jump into it. At 7:30, we have CPI, New York Empire State Manufacturing Index, and retail sales month over month for April. At 9 o'clock, we have business inventories for March and the housing market index for the month of May. At 9:30, we have some crude news. At 11 o'clock and 2:20, we have Fed Kashkari and Bauman speaking. Now, it's never recommended to trade during a major news release, but if you choose to trade during unpredictable price action, then understand you're playing a game of chance with your trading account. And now that we know what to expect, let's jump into the charts and create a game plan for tomorrow's price action. This is the block of price action that we traded during today's stream, and today was definitely a range day. Also, today, the producer price index was released at 7:30 Central Time. Let's actually look at that now. Here are the key points about the inflation data that was released today. The producer price index, a measure of what producers receive for the goods that they produce, increased 0.5% in April and was up 2.2% on a 12-month basis, the biggest gain in a year. Core PPI also rose 0.5% compared to the 0.2% that was estimated by the Dow Jones. And service prices boosted the wholesale inflation reading, climbing 0.6% and accounting for about 3/4 of the headline again. Another key takeaway is that prices received at the wholesale levels increased 0.5% for the month, higher than the 0.3% that was estimated. Also, there was a revision in the March reading, initially reporting a 0.2% gain to a decline of 0.1%. And as you can see, during Jerome Powell's speech today, he did make a reference to this reading, and as it reads, he did say that he expects to keep inflation rates higher for longer. So tomorrow's CPI release will definitely move the market. And with that said, let's head back to the charts. So we definitely had a range day today. And this is the reaction to the PPI release. And you would think after we got a reaction like that the market was going to trend lower, especially knowing that Jerome Powell was going to be speaking in the next hour. But if we look at the charts, we can see that price retested this area of support, and you can see that the bulls bought this right back up and they pushed price higher. Now, we had some low volume price action, and as you can see, once the bulls traded right back into this range, we got this range breakout. The bears taking price down, the bulls finding support here at the top of this range, and you can see that price had a second range breakout. And as you can see, all this was a range breakout, and the bulls are rotating back and forth until we finally got this breakout. So here's what I'm looking for with the NQ tomorrow. We have the CPI being released. We just had the producer price index coming out harder than expected. And because CPI is usually a foreshadowing for PPI, and PPI came in harder than expected, I do expect for there to be a downward move. But what I'm going to be looking out for tomorrow is if we do get that move down, will the bulls buy it back up just like how they bought up the PPI release? Will the bulls come back in, say that the economy is actually doing okay regardless of what the inflation data is saying, and still try to push price higher? Or is this going to be the turn in the market? Fed Chair Jerome Powell has already stated that he does expect to keep rates higher for longer, but he has said that he doesn't expect to raise rates. So that statement could be what the bulls need to push this market higher, using bear stops as fuel to push up. But we'll see what happens during the reaction to the CPI release. And with that said, let's jump into an ES chart. This is an ES chart. And this is the block of price action that we traded during today's stream. And just like the NQ, the bears took full advantage of a hotter than expected PPI reading, pushing price down. But also just like the NQ, you can see that the bulls found support here in this support area, and they pushed price higher. Now, Fed Chair Jerome Powell had a meeting at 9 o'clock, and there was a lot of statements that he made during this meeting. So let's look at that now and see if any of those statements may have fueled this range breakout towards the end of the day. Here are some of the statements that Fed Chair Jerome Powell made during his meeting today. Inflation in Q1 was notable for the lack of further progress. His confidence in inflation moving back down is lower than it was. He expects the labor market to continue to rebalance, but remain strong. He also expects continued GDP growth, 2% or better. Restrictive policy may take longer than expected and bring inflation down. He doesn't think it's likely that the next move will be a rate hike. It's more likely that they would hold policy where it's at. And finally, that it will take longer to gain confidence to get inflation down. The Feds are all saying the same things. However, they are saying that they do not see a rate hike in the potential future, that it will all be based on the inflation data and how it reads. So I'm interested to see how the market will react once we get that inflation reading tomorrow at 7:30 Central Time. And with that said, let's jump back into the charts. So after we got this initial reaction to the PPI release, the bulls finding support in this area, trading price higher back into this range, you can see that there was a bunch of consolidation in this area until the bulls were able to break out of this area. And it looks like price is going to trade higher overnight. But we've seen this time and time again. We see that once we have a major news release, we have price trading in one direction, usually taking out highs, taking out supply areas, and holding price in that area until the actual inflation data or whatever data is released. And this time, it's no different. Even though that Fed Chair Jerome Powell was not hawkish, but he was not dovish. And I also want to bring something to your attention. I made this statement yesterday, but this high right here is the last CPI high. So I would find it very ironic if the bulls do take out this high overnight, price possibly consolidates in this area, and once the CPI data is released, we either get a push higher, or in my opinion, what's more likely to happen is we get a big correction down, because price has been hanging out in this area. And if you look to the left of your chart, this is the area that started that bearish move down, and price has been rotating back and forth in this area. So either we're going to get a break of this resistance, or the bears are going to finally wake up, they're going to come back in, and they're going to knock price down. But here's the thing, even if the bears do knock price down and we do get a big correction tomorrow, I do believe that there will be a drop. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if the bulls still buy this up or make an attempt to buy every day. Now, I don't want to try to predict the news tomorrow. I just want to trade the reaction. But I want to keep in mind that with every inflation data that has come out, we get the initial drop down and the bulls buy every dip and taking out old highs. So I want to keep that in mind. And here are the market clues that I'm going to keep in mind going into tomorrow. The market sold off after the PPI was released, but was immediately bought back up. Also, during the speech with Jerome Powell, the bears did try to sell price down, but the bulls immediately bought that up. Later in the session, there was a range breakout with price retesting higher time frame supply, slightly rejecting, but still trading through it. So I do believe that the bulls' job is not done. Price will most likely trade higher overnight. And once we get that data release, that's when we'll see the big market reaction. And with that said, that's all I have. And if you're enjoying these breakdowns and want insight on trading the Nasdaq and ES intraday, then subscribe to the channel and join our live stream where me and my trading partner provides intraday analysis in real time. Our current goal is building a community. And if you're tired of missing the best trades on the Nasdaq and ES intraday, then join the live stream, join the Discord, join the risk managers in the chat, and we appreciate your support as we grow. As we wrap up, remember the risk manager's creed. Trading involves risk and demands careful analysis and capital preservation. And we can do that by practicing sound risk management. Every trade tells a story. Make sure you write that story in your trading journal, because our psychology is all over these charts. And as always, my name is Nasdaq Anonymous, and I'm addicted to the NQ. Stay green out there. Peace.